This is the Wanganui Cup. We're going to jump forward here. Now, here's a horse who was knocking around in rating 75s and doing a decent job, coming to the outside glory days. Bill Furlow's waited and waited to get 2,000 metres plus. 3 starts at 2,000 or plus and 3 victories. And on this, boys and girl, this is a horse who could turn up in a City of Auckland Cup
dominant, hasn't it?
And bigger chance.
100% second, he's run honest, he's had a good trip. Sampson's a good old campaigner, so he's a good marker, but yeah,
seriously,
glory days, 4 in a row.
If this was a wine, it would be classified as a blend, wouldn't it, this race? It was just pretty average. I backed Sampson in the New Zealand Cup around 10th.
Yeah, fair call.
But that's see, all these stories start with you backing something that runs 10th. So maybe you should stop betting for a start. But this is a horse who, as I said, it was knocking around at Riccarton and places and racing well when you knew it was going to be a good horse some stage. But he was Bill Furlow, who owns it with the family and the neighbours. So that's a chance to have a bit of a jar this week. But it's one look a decent horse. It's nominated for the Auckland Cup and the Wellington Cup, but it's also now being aimed at the City of Auckland Cup on New Year's Day. I can't remember seeing Bill Furlow race at Ellerslie much since I've been doing. I do the big screen there last 5 years. I wouldn't have seen him turn up many times there, Bruce.
He's a champion, Bill Furlow, and a good man with a horse.
Now, we talked about the bookies getting an absolute poleaxing over the weekend, and it started, as Mick alluded to earlier, with the Sharrock runner 3 wide the trip in race number 2, Cinerama out wide. And where did Jonathan Parkes give it a couple behind the saddle?
Well, he made sure he wasn't unlucky, so he just sat out there.
I think you're pretty confident with those colours on.
Here he goes, like, okay, I'm going to give it a couple here because I reckon someone, not that he would probably know about 20,000, but Alan might have said to him, look, we're expecting this to win.
She's good late.
See what I mean? And this is out of She's Sensational, right?
Yep, so, going to love a trip. That's a really good one.
And
stop hitting it.
Bruce is in it, Bruce Sharrock's in it, which could have made for an awfully large night. Tony Kemp's in the horse. I'm picking there's some pretty dusty boys in the Taranaki this morning, to be completely honest. But as I said, here it's 3 wide in the Sharrock colours, and you'd be thinking, if you had the 20,000...
really travel a number of times. It's on and off the bridle, so it's clearly going to be better when it gets to a bit further and over a bit more distance.
Tell you what, though, wouldn't it be fun having 20k on one for the last 150 of this? You could just watch it and have a bit of a laugh.
A what? 20k?
20k.
20k laugh.
If you thought something was, as you thought a horse was an absolute certainty, say for example,
put 10 on it.
The trainer you trust the most said a horse was, what would you have on it?
Like if I put 100 on a horse, I shake for the whole race. The whole 59.09 seconds of Whiskey Neats race, I would have been shaking if I had 100 on. Don't say it.
I'm not going to say it.
Alicia, whipping.
What was it, sorry?
Whipping. Jonathan Parkes is quite good at hitting them. Now, I look at that race and I know I've got 20k on it, but I don't want him to hit it that much.
Just depends if the horse is wandering around, like he was the last 50 metres and he changed legs and then keep going again. You just want to make sure they're onto it. You don't know, there could be something flashing from behind, anything like that. You really want to, you've won the race when you've crossed the line, so you don't want to give up a fraction bit before and then, you get beat on the nose or something like that.
But what about, just a question about whipping. There's a lot of people talk about it these days and there is some talk in South Africa, they're looking at banning the whip. What would your personal views be on that as a safety thing?
I don't think it has anything. You need the whip. You need the whip. It's without a doubt. It livens horses up. To get the best out of them, you do need to give them a couple, even if to make it fair for the punters, you need to use a whip. I think.
But also, just from the safety perspective, would it be more dangerous for you riding without that? Without the whip?
It would be, yes, it would, because just to alert the horses, sometimes you just give them a quick slap on the shoulder, anything like that. You got one that's running left, you can put the whip in the left hand and steer them around the corner a little bit and make sure that they know.
So it's about styles then, in terms of the people that don't like it. It's about the
making it look like you're doing something decent. Yeah.
Yeah, but this is a bit outrageous these days, isn't it?
I think we have a rule here that you're not allowed to have the whip over the shoulder. And that whipping rule is still in, I think they're still using it. But yeah, sometimes it is a little bit excessive, but everyone's different.
I think we're pretty well placed. I think that a lot of our leading riders now, and you saw Matt Cameron yesterday, right on the line with Love Affair, are pushing down on the neck, like the good European riders do.
That was the perfect ride.
Yeah.
It's as good as you get.
When you look at videos from 20 or 30 years ago and you see Mick Dittman ride, on naturalism, you just go, dear God. We've come so far that I think it's pretty fair on where it is at the moment. I don't often see something and think, well, that was just OTT. I think most of our riders, particularly the good ones, I think when you're young it's really hard because you're still learning, but I think most of our senior riders are pretty good about putting the whip away, most of the time.